All right, so let's go ahead and take a tour of my office. It's in really good shape. It's clean right now. I kind of want to show you how I organize things and and then I've got links for all of the storage and things that I use. So I'm going to back up a little bit because for those of you who haven't seen my home studio, you might want to see it. So we when we built this house, we built this room. It was like you could use it as a dining room or you could have it as like a rec room. So we added some doors. So there's some big double doors here. And then I went ahead and added the cabinets. And the cabinets are actually just kitchen cabinets. They're standard kitchen cabinets. They're painted a pretty gray color, but the tops are, those are just standard kitchen, and then this is a standard kitchen counter. The reason I like having the kitchen cabinets in here is I like working on a counter height surface. I'm relatively tall, I'm 5'8", and so I like to be working at counter height, especially when I'm cutting paper or die cutting or doing things like that. So let me talk you through some of the storage and what we've got going on. And I actually have a diagram that shows this, but this is my memory keeping stuff. So I have a lot of memory keeping stuff up there and down here. I also have things for craft fair down here. So I have my craft fair bucket, which is always packed and ready to go. So it's easy for me to go to craft fairs. And I have a few like display racks and things like that down there. And then the surface that's closest to my desk. So I floated my desk. This is an old desk that I had. And one reason I like it is that it has some storage down below. So I usually keep like my paper trimmer there, and I've got my little trash can. And so I've got a couple of tools kind of easy to get to. And then I face out towards the rest of the room because the rest of the room actually has our old dining room table, which right now is loaded down with Girl Scout stuff because we're about to do some fun Girl Scout things. But this dining room table gives me the ability to teach 6 in here, which is great. And I love it. And then I've got my TV over there. So if I want to watch TV, I can do that. Many of you have asked about the artwork on my social media graphic. And it's actually a painting that I painted at one of those like sipping wine classes in Charleston, South Carolina. It's really pretty. And I had an artist make me a small social media image that I can use for it. So that's what I use on a lot of my graphics. That rack actually has a lot of kits in it. So when we do kit togethers, then people can come over and they can just look through and grab a kit. And these pockets are one of the pockets items that I'll list from Amazon. It has a Velcro closure and it fits both Paper Pumpkin and our kits really, really well. So I now take them out of the box and I put them in there because it's just handy. The other piece that I have over here, I've got 2 things. I have my wall sorters. So this is actually used in classrooms and they're called classroom file sorters. And they're great for 12 by 12 paper. And then when the 12 by 12 paper, when I see maybe that it's flopping a little bit, I'll bring in some of these really heavy duty 12 by 12 acrylic holders, and those will kind of support the paper. And then the other piece I have over here in the corner is, it's called a scrapbook cart, but what I like about it is that I can put a whole class in one box. And so I'm very organized. So I have like one class that fits in per box. And then I can, like that's my scrap box. I've got an empty box. That's exciting. Ready for another class. This is actually a scrapbook that I'm working on right now. And then I think this one was just some leftover items from retreat. So that's a great tool, and I'll link to that as well. So coming back over here, then the area of cabinets that's closest to me as I sit and craft are the ones that are my most frequently used. So I have retired punches in here. I have ribbons in here and re-inkers. The bottom is where I have like clear envelopes and 6x6 paper and a few other things. I've got cardstock in here. I have clear blocks and other kind of inks, Memento, craft ink, stuff like that, adhesives in there. Over there, I have current punches. I'm left-handed, so when I turn to my left, right, that's where the current punches are. That's actually a technique drawer, the big one, so that's where all my technique things are, and I'll show you that. And then the bottom drawer is my 3D drawer. So when I get 3D samples from people of cute little treat holders and things, I put them in there, and then I use those as my samples. So let me show you a couple drawers. So punches fit great in just a standard drawer, and you can see what you have there. We have ribbons in here and re-inkers. So I do use our little squares for the re-inkers. This is my new embellishment organizer. So each embellishment, I'm going to put labels on them, but I'm using these Avery vinyl envelopes that are pretty cool. And I've got it seated in one of these clear boxes, and I'm actually going to get some more of these. So now I can kind of thumb through my current embellishments, and I'm going to put labels on the top so that I can easily find my embellishments. I was using a different system before, and it's just not working. I was using these clear envelopes or these clear cases, and it just wasn't working. So definitely recommend you get a ribbon holder. These are two that I've had forever. They do not have to be pretty. You're not going to have them out. I do not feed the ribbon through the holes or do anything like that. I just have them sorted in here, and then I can kind of, pull them as I need them. I try to do like annual catalog and mini, or in this case, current and retired, so that I can kind of keep track of what I, need to get through, what projects I need to pump through. I also have a little bucket back here that's like a scrap bucket. So if I make extras of something, I can drop them off in there. Down here is, like I said, clear envelope, 6x6 paper. Maybe I've got like the 6x8 envelopes. And then I've got some old like 3D boxes, treat packaging that are in here that I just keep and use. So that's handy. I do use Stampin' Storage's container. I use the Creative Crate for my dies and embossing folders. And the reason I use it is I like that it has an angled back, so everything kind of like lays down well. And then I'll turn on a little light here. And then these guys, I've got labels, and then each one of my pieces, I have the label, and then I use the magnet card for the dies, and then I use the same pockets and a label for the embossing folders. And then what I like is that I can put my other plates in the back as well. So I have shape dies. So these are just dies that have shapes. Then I have detail dies. So that usually means that it like goes with something, right? So for instance, the art one's probably, crafting for you, right? So then I have the hybrid dies, which are the ones that have the thick embossing folders with them. And then I have embossing folders. And then my last category is holiday. I'll put a bunch of like the holiday stuff in kind of its own category, only because I don't really need access to it all the time. I do have a little vacuum here, and then I do have an old paper pumpkin box, and I use my, this guy in here, the die brush. I knew the word would come to me eventually. I do use washi. I have a bunch of old washi that I keep here. Obviously, I have all my inks and stuff here, and all of my markers here. I keep my markers in rainbow order. I keep my stamp pads in color families. This top drawer has, I don't love it right now, so I'm going to get more of those clear acrylic organizers, and I'm going to put them in here and get this drawer a little more organized. But I've got my blocks and my adhesives, and then my other StazOn and Versamark inks. I'll show you. I keep my paper, my cardstock, in color family as well. And that helps me to do a quick check to see like what do I need to order. And I use the these folders to store my paper. It just makes it easier for me. These are my current punches, and always a couple random things in here. This is my Technique drawer, and I actually just cleaned it up, which is great. So in here, I have all of my water painters, aqua painters, blender pens. I've got my brushes. I've got my brayers, right? So I've got all those Technique tools here. I've got some clipboards. I've got my actual heat tool that I just store in here. Alcohol, StazOn cleaner. I've got some of these. I like to keep these embellishment containers because they're great for watercoloring. I've got some palettes in case I want to use those. My silicone mat. The things that are in this bucket are like retired things that I might want to use at some point. So I've got some gold gilding. Maybe I've got some other things in there. I've got watercolor pencils and the daubers. And then my heat embossing. I've got some sand in here that I use for projects. So this is definitely the Technique drawer, and it's nice to have all my Technique tools in one place. And then this is the drawer of 3D projects. Dun, 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 dun. So I use those. One, they're memories, but two, they're also great for when it's time to, do some canoodling and some thinking on how to do a 3D project. We always do a team sampler, so I always have that here, and then I always put cards on display. These are cards that I'm selling. I need to refresh my rack, but I pull from here, and then I have my printer. I do have a couple of these 31 organizers. That one has like my receipts, my join brochures, my labels for catalogs. And then on this side, I have a couple more of these, and these are my current papers. So the black ones over there are retired, and these are current. So I try to do current specialty, and then I usually have like annual catalog and whatever holiday catalog we're in. So that's kind of nice. All right, so then when you're looking at the upper cabinets, this is the retired section. So this is my retired stamp set section. I do keep retired stamps. Look, everybody always says I get rid of everything. And that's not true. I don't get rid of everything. And then this is current stuff. So I'll have current stamps here, envelopes and note cards. I just try to keep easy and quick. I usually have snacks in here, just in case. I'm literally right by the kitchen, but whatever. And then I store some things for class in here. I have my adhesives. But everything's kind of got a bucket, a box, a place, a location. So I try to keep myself pretty organized. These are some other kits. So I have past paper pumpkin stamps in a box. I've got some boxes with some ink spots, and I've got a lot of ink spots right now, so I'm probably going to try to get rid of some. I've got another box of past paper pumpkin stamps. And then I've got class kits for teaching. So these are ones that I have multiples of, and I'm ready to, I'm ready to teach classes on these. So these are all for teaching versus, so like I've got 3 or 4 of them and I can do a class with them versus the ones over on the other side of the room are for people to buy and do like one-offs. This section features basically random craft supplies. This is a lot where Girl Scouts will come in, and I'll pull supplies for Girl Scouting. I keep all my printer supplies, so shipping, labels, bags, envelopes, all that stuff is here. And then down below is where I usually have some retired items. I've got some bags and boxes and things, some extra printer paper, and some of my samplers. So, yeah, that's my office. I do have this little crate here that I would love to get rid of, but I'm just not there yet. This is like old office supplies and probably things I need to get rid of. So, but that's my office, and generally you can't see that because it's hidden behind the chair, but yeah, that is my studio, my home studio. And this is Command Central. I've got my mount here so that you can, so I can tape videos when I'm not moving all around the room. And yeah, hopefully it's helpful for you to see kind of how I organize things, and how I try to keep everything that I need really close by, but still trying to keep it, pretty clean and neat and tidy, and have things in a predictable place so that when I'm crafting, it's easy for me to, grab things and get things while I'm working. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I'll link below some of my favorite things. I've actually got a landing spot on my website, so I'll link to that so that you can find some of my favorite organizing tools. And yeah, thanks for hopping along today. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. All right. Bye, y'all.